Hey guys, it's me, Dax, back with another one of my Mad Ramblings. Today's Mad Rambling is a very, very simple, quite short one, but one that I hope will really help you as you move forward through your life in general, and through today specifically. And it comes not as an original idea of my own, although it is something that I've been thinking about for a while, but off the back of a great blog post that I read over on Jason C. Brown's blog, The Pathfinder Method. Go check out, kind of Jason C. Brown is an absolutely amazing, very talented fitness professional, very talented coach as well. But this blog in particular really got my brain ticking over. And it's about metric obsession. Okay, metric obsession. I guess the simplest way to put this is that we have generally tended to become extremely metrically obsessed. So what do I mean by that? We get caught up in the numbers, okay, so that life becomes all about numbers. So in the blog post there was a lot to do with measuring fitness, okay, so kind of like 1 rep maxes and how fast you can run, and kind of how much weight you can lift and how many times you can lift it, and all this kind of stuff, all the stuff related to fitness in general, which is great, which is absolutely useful in some respects, because as we all know, there's no progress without progression. So a small amount of metric monitoring, as it were, looking at the numbers and keeping a general eye on them, can be a very useful thing. Doesn't mean that it is. And here's where metric obsession kind of tends to go wrong. Metric obsession generally tends to go wrong when we use it in too many areas of our lives at once, and then kick the crap out of ourselves for not reaching the numbers that we set for ourselves. So I guess this is the downside of goal setting, if you will. Okay, so let's look at it where metric obsession generally tends to kick in. We have metric obsession definitely around our incomes. Okay, so last year we earned X thousand, and this year we want to earn X plus 5 or whatever, or X times 2. Okay, and we get really caught up in chasing the numbers. Now, in being metrically obsessed, in being so focused on the numbers, we very often miss out on the experience of the life that we could have along the way. And I know certainly that happened for me for a period of my career, where I became extremely financially focused, where I became extremely focused on the amount of profit I made one year versus the last year. And I kind of pretty much blew out a year of enjoyment of my life just by chasing the numbers to see, okay, well, am I making more money this month than I made in the same month last year? Okay, so metric obsession can be really painful to you, and really costly in ways that most of us will never realize until we've already paid the price. Okay, metric obsession. Where else do we see that? Well, obviously we see it when it relates to things like our body weight. If you become so caught up in having to weigh a certain amount on the scales, that again you forget to enjoy the journey. Now, and I know this sounds like really soft, like, oh, enjoy the journey, but it's really important, because if you give yourself a really crappy time in chasing the numbers on the scales, are you likely to commit to lifelong exercise and lifelong nutrition that actually makes you feel good, that you think, wow, I'm having such a great time doing this, I'm really enjoying being fit, and I'm really enjoying being strong, and I'm really enjoying seeing my body change? Or are you going to be one of those people that until 5 minutes ago felt really positive? Oh, I've been really good, I've had a really great week, I've done everything the right way, I really feel like my workouts are moving me in the right direction, and then you jump on your scales and you go, oh shit, it was all wasted, damn, didn't work. Okay, now which one of those two things is more important to you? Which one is the one that is over time going to make you happy? Is it going to be the experience of knowing that you yourself are taking control of your life, and that you're doing the things that will over time make the difference, and not just make the difference on the scales, but make the difference to how you feel about yourself? You're in control, you're doing something, and that something is better than nothing. Or are you just always going to measure the effectiveness of what you're doing against a number, and then are you going to give yourself a real crap time of things? Are you going to be crappy to yourself by saying, right, didn't meet my number, that somehow makes me a failure? Okay, which one are you going to be? Okay, are you going to go through your life metrically obsessed? Now, look, there's nothing wrong with having numbers, right? I've got numbers in terms of some of the weights that I want to be able to lift by the end of the year. Again, I do have numbers related to my income. I have numbers related to the amount of days off that I want to take this year. Just kind of, I want to, every 12 weeks I want to be able to take a 2-week vacation. There are numbers still there, but am I going to get caught up in those numbers? I hope not. I hope not. I can't guarantee that I won't. Every now and then the numbers take hold of me. That metric obsession jumps in, grabs me around the throat and kind of says, you've got to pay attention to the numbers. But do we? Do we really have to? Okay, and that's the choice that each one of us has as we go through life. Are we going to become a slave to numbers, or are we going to use numbers as a guide to ourselves that kind of says, hey, yeah, I'm roughly in the ballpark of where I'd hoped and expected to be? Or, like I say, are you going to be a slave to that? Are you actually just going to say, damn, everything about my life is based upon reaching this number in this particular area of my life, whether that be my body weight, whether that be the lifts that I'm going to lift in the gym, the speed that I run on the treadmill, the speed that I might run a marathon at, or whatever. Are we going to be obsessed by the numbers in terms of our income and in terms of so many other things? Or are we actually just going to say, it's a useful tool, but actually I'm going to try and enjoy the journey as I go through life as well? And that's the choice we all get to make. So again, just for clarity, I'm not saying don't have numbers. I think numbers can be very, very useful, but use them as the tool. Don't let them use you. Okay? Big distinction. Use the numbers, but don't let the numbers use you. If you let the numbers use you, you're going to become metrically obsessed, and you're going to become the kind of person who is never, ever, ever going to be happy until they meet their numbers. So on that cheery note, that's me, Dax Moy. I'm out. Speak to you soon.